Swordsoul has been released. Dawn of Majesty has been and gone now for a while. I've been waiting to do this. We're going to crack on into Swordsoul and why it's such a good card for UA, how it's going to change the deck. Let's crack on into the effect now. So during main phase, if a monster whose effects are negated is on the field, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. So this is basically player manager with a slight difference of the negation, but you will see negation with block backer, player manager and sign and deal, so this card is easy to get out onto the field. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can activate one of these effects based on where it was special summoned from. Hand, special summon one monster from your hand, that's really cool. Worked with rival rebounder, player manager, block backer, perfect ace. The card has so much synergy with the deck. If they special summon from deck, draw 2 cards. Extra deck, destroy one of those monsters special summoned from the extra deck. You can only use each effect of the Swordsoul once per turn. This card is an extra interruption for UA. Let me put it again, an extra interruption. We already have Spiker, block backer, ace, midfielder. This card allows us to go even further now. This card is changing UA. I'm going to talk about the deck list as well in a minute, but Swordsoul is a game changer. Having it as level 8 as well, so we can go into level 8 and rank 8 plays with player manager, it just leads so much more advantage to the deck. Pick this card up if you're going to play UA, it's a game changer. I'll move over into the deck list now and we'll see what we can do, guys. Let's get it. So guys, it's finally here, the moment we've been waiting for. I'm going to rock into this deck list finally now. We've got Swordsoul. We're going to talk about the deck and I'll show you what we can do. I'm so excited for this card's release. This is the deck I've got. 41 cards, can't get it to 40 because I really like the artifact package. If you moved it to hand traps, you could probably get it to 40, but I think 41's pretty good right now. Let's go through it. Of course, we've got my standard UA package that I always play in every UA deck, and that is 2 player manager, 1 dunker, 1 block backer, 1 rival rebounder, 1 ace, 3 spiker, and 2 midfielder. This is my standard monster package, usually in UA. You've got the defensive attributes and the attacking attributes, rival rebounder as well to get on board, lots of level 4s to get onto the field because obviously we need that normal summon. Well, that's what we're rocking currently. And then on our artifacts, you see here we're only rocking 2 Lancier and 1 Scythe. 3 Lancier is, you can do it, but it takes up to 42 cards and it makes the deck less consistent because you always see Lancier when you don't want to. So 2 is alright because we sometimes want to see it. It's really good, and obviously we can get it off Sanctum anyway, but obviously we'll play for 1 Scythe. No one will see it in hand unless we've got manager. But this is the card that we search off of Sanctum. It's really good. It's still such a house currently. And then of course the big card, you see me pull it the other day on my box opening. We pulled the Swordsoul, and here it is. Playing 3 of it, it has to be over 3 of. It's literally player manager on steroids. This card's crazy. It has so much good synergy with this deck in particular. I think this card is going to change UA, and I'm going to show you how. This card is going to be crazy. Obviously we went over it in the start, we went through the effect, so I don't really need to get into it, but this card, pick it up right now, it's crazy. 3 extravagance, obviously don't need the extra deck really. 1 up rotor, 3 foolish burial, of course, it's basically a UA card at this point. 3 sign and deal, great synergy with Swordsoul. Being able to special summon from the deck is really cool, but obviously having its effect negated is a bit of a positive in this deck currently now as well, because obviously Swordsoul is here. So if you go sign and deal, you can go into Swordsoul, and also you go into manager off that, so you can get 3 cards onto field, and then obviously substitute out the negated effect, get it back on the field after you special summoned again. It's really cool, easy to get rid of. 1 terraforming obviously, because we need those. 2 turnover tactics, still playing turnover. Best card in UA if you can get it off. Kills meta decks right now. Just incredible. Obviously 3 hyper stadium, 3 UA stadium. You can't play any less, you can't play any more. Except with the terraforming obviously, but that's just your standard. 2 penalty box, still rocking it. You could go to 3, but you don't want a brick on it. 2 is perfect because obviously we're sending off burial goods. That's pretty much its only use, unless we special summon manager and pop it on our own field. Can sometimes come up. And 3 Sanctum, still on the artifacts. Still think the artifacts are crazy right now. Slept on, definitely. Scythe is definitely slept on right now, and Lancey is always a good card. The extra deck has gone under some changes. Obviously, we're still on Zeus. Right now, it's also been scheduled for a reprint, so it could be really good. The thing that we're changing right now is we're playing number 97 Draglubion, and you know why we're playing this, because we can get Numeron Dragon and we can OTK, which is really cool. Also, you can go into Hope Harbinger and Ingursu, which is really cool. Obviously, Hope Harbinger you can get off Draglubion, and it has a material with Numeron Dragon. And then obviously Durandal as well, Utopia and Abyss Dweller, just because we can get to Zeus from there. Underworld Goddess, of course, has to be in the deck. Access Code Talker, Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, which is a really cool card. I still love this card. Wishing for a cheaper reprint still. Unicorn, Phoenix, Dagda, and IP Masquerader to finish off. That's our main set and our extra deck there. Really cool. I love the deck as it stands. Trying to work on the averages on obviously 41 cards right now. You could go up a little bit to make it 42, and you could get rid of the artifacts to add hand traps if you prefer it, which is really cool. This is why in the extra deck we're playing 3 Nibiru, because it's still meta destroying, 1 Alpha, 1 Pancratops. This is the emission that we've changed. I've been talking to a guy, Trent Fire, who's a subscriber to the channel. We've been talking about UA Power Jersey not being as good as it was. Obviously, we usually play it as a one-off anyway, and so it only comes up every so often. So if it's not your main strategy for UA, it can head to the side and you can bring it out. Obviously, the copy of Lancia, 3 Dark Rune No More as well, going second. 3 Cosmic Cyclone because I hate Mystic Mine, and 1 Imperial Order. I know it's a house and everyone's hating this card, but it's so good. Why would you not play it in your side? But that is the deck list, guys. We'll move over into some games. I can't wait to show you what Iris Swordsoul can do in this deck, and I'm so excited that this deck is even more powerful than it was before. Right, let's get cracking on, guys. Hope you enjoy. Right then, guys, I'm so excited to show you the games here. We're getting to our first game right now. You see we've got the Swordsoul in hand. We'll send penalty box with Foolish Berry Goods. We're getting extra stadium, so let's activate Hyper Stadium first. Obviously, you want to do that first, correct order. Play the 1000, get our UA Stadium, get the extra normal summon midfielder, get player manager onto the board. Then we'll search for Blockbacker as well, get Blockbacker onto the board, and get the midfielder as well, and get the extra search. Now get into Perfect Ace, getting Perfect Ace on the field, set in Sanctum, and we are set up now. We get Kaiju immediately with Perfect Ace, but we'll activate Sanctum here to go into Scythe. We're playing Despia, so obviously we want to fusion summon. Scythe will activate its effects as well. We'll activate Jester to get an extra Despia card to hand. Well, it's going to be pretty much it. We'll activate Blockbacker here so we can get Iris out onto the field quickly. That'll end their turn there, and we are looking pretty good right now. We'll use Midfielder's effect to send Blockbacker to back to hand and activate Manager here, destroying the Jester, and they will scoop from there. But that's just some of the boards you can create in this. We're coming up, looks like we're going against heroes here. We've got an interesting hand. We've got Rebound, a Stadium Sign deal, and Scythe in hand isn't ideal, but you know we can work around it like we've done in the past. If we get Scythe in hand, we have to get Player Manager out onto the field so we can pop our own Scythe on our opponent's turn, using like a Libero Spike or a Midfielder effect. But we're going through standard hero combo plays. Malicious Bane's here, Vion's here, Polly's here. We'll go into Sunrise and we'll get the Miracle Fusion. They've got Plasma in hand, Denier as well. Didn't see a Mali go down though. This is the, seems like it's going to be one of the decks that's coming further forward with Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. So let's extravagance here. We've got a Iris off the bat. Penalty box obviously to get UA Hyper Stadium. Then there's 1, there's 2. Activating Hyper Stadium now, getting the extra normal summon again. Going into UA Stadium and we are set up. This is a good hand right now because we can activate Iris because Plasma is negating all of our monster effects right now, which is really cool for us because it allows us to have this Iris interaction without actually needing it with Blockbacker Manager or stuff like that. So it's pretty key right now. So we make a huge board right now. We'll hit over the Sunrise, we'll activate Increased Effect, we'll hit over the Plasma, and we are good going into main phase 2, getting Perfect Days and going into an IP Masquerader. We've got a big board right now. We'll activate Mystery Day and we'll negate that with the effect with a Perfect Ace. Obviously it doesn't destroy itself. We'll activate Blockbacker on the Shine and we'll activate Celestial and we will Masquerader here and we'll use Malicious Bane to go into Underworld Goddess. Use Underworld Goddess' effect to negate the effects on field. We'll go into Cross Guy, we'll activate Iris to pop its special summon from the extra deck, and we are looking pretty. We'll get Denier and shuffle back into deck, but we're looking pretty right now. Getting into midfield now, getting Manager hand, getting Rival Rebounder, and then we'll activate Manager and pop in, but they scooped as well. the deck is causing a lot of people to scoop because of how many interruptions we can make. This time we've not got the best hand. You see we're playing Power Jersey in this one, so I decided in for a little bit. I do love the card, and we've got Dreadnought Dunker as well. We'll set Scythe here, and you know what that means when we set Scythe. We're going to use Libero Spike's effect, sending Dunker back to deck to get Manager out onto field to pop our own Scythe. And it just happens that we're playing Live Twins, who cannot do anything unless they have the extra deck. That activates talents here, getting the Scythe. I don't know if he expected that to be able to negate the effect of Scythe, but it doesn't, it's an activated effect. We'll go into Spike here, but that's a bit Solemn Warning. I was thinking, oh, okay, what do we do here? But then we'll go into Manager, again, using midfielder, and we'll pop the spell. Go into Dragoon Beyond, of course, going into Numeron Dragon, getting the effect of Numeron Dragon, TO to 9k, doing an 8,500 damage, really key. Looks like we're playing a Dark Magician Jack here, so that obviously means we're going to come up against Dragoon, because that is the only thing that we can do right now. Set up Dragoon, and we just need to find the out for Dragoon right now. Hand's looking pretty good. We've got basically both stadiums and Extravagance, so we're looking good right now. We just need to think about what we actually need to get here to be able to beat the Dragoon, because obviously we need to bait the negate and the non-targeting issue as well with destruction. It can cause some problems, but we've got a cracked hand right now. I had to get an Extravagance here. That gets negated, which is slightly annoying, but Terraforming to get a UA Stadium, activating Hyper Stadium, but that's it, Eternal Soul here, which is obviously we're going to get damage and pop our Hyper Stadium, but we get the Search. So then we go into normal UA Stadium here, which is it's still good. We go into Spiker, activate Manager, and Manager's going to clean house, because we'll activate Manager's effect to negate, because we've already used the Dragoon negate. Activating Sign and Deal here, getting Rival Rebounder as well. Going into midfielder, going into Dunker, getting over Anaconda, and using the Dunker effect to pop Dragoon and hitting him for game with Manager. Lovely and easy. Here we come and get Zodiac, which is actually a really good matchup for us right now, especially if we've got Iris, because they obviously want to summon once and then exceed summon all the time over that. Going to block back here off Sign and Deal, activating Player Manager and activating Iris, because Sign and Deal makes it so that it's so good to use when you've got Manager and Iris, because you can get both out into the field really quickly. We've got an Omni Negate, a Special Summon Negate, an Iris Negate, an Irish Pop / Negate, and then Sleep pop in the extra deck from Zodiac straight away. And we've got midfield as well. They'll activate Zodiac Barrage as well, and we will use a Perfect Ace, and they cannot do anything with their hand and scoop instantly. I'm telling you, the deck is a scoop machine. This deck has so many interruptions, you can play through so many things, it's really cool. Playing Bluster Blader here, which is actually really cool for us. Obviously we see the two stadiums here because we've got Foolish Berry with Goods. You're always going to see the two stadiums, but even if you don't, you can use one of them to get the others, to get your combos going anyway. Going to Spike here, obviously we get into Player Manager as well. Getting Dunker, obviously just to get Player Manager out onto the field, and we'll negate the effects of our opponent's monsters so we can get it to Iris. Comes onto the board straight away. Activating Stadium to get a Libero Spiker back onto the field as well. Get a Sign and Deal as well, get him to midfielder. We'll swap that out for a block backer, hit into battle phase. Using Dunker, we'll pop a Buster Blader. They'll send the Destruction Swording and get into their fusion, but Iris is there to pop the card. We were waiting for it anyway. Get in Player Manager, hit it with Iris, hit it with block backer, and we will deal damage OTK style. Lovely. This time, our hand is not looking good, but you know the card that we've got in hand is Turnover Tactics, and you know what Turnover Tactics is? An absolute board breaker, and we're playing heroes. There is no way Turnover Tactics is not going to break their board right now. So we'll hit an emergency skill, but we'll activate Sanctum as well. Get into Scythe. Of course, that's also a board breaker against heroes, because that's all they want to do is a fusion summon. So we'll get into Blockbacker as well for the special summon negate as well. That's fit Pharos. Going into Pharos here. Getting Shadow Mist to the graveyard, chain blocking it for the Pharos. Going into Increase, and we'll activate Perfect Ace for the increase because we want to see that. Dusted Gold comes down, getting Dark Core into hand, and they'll set one and pass. I think it's set with Super Poly, which could be interesting. We'll attack Super Poly here, getting into the Shining. We'll activate Blockbacker to negate the Shining's effects. They'll hit here, we'll go into Dark Core, in which we'll get a Malicious Bane, but we will use Blockbacker again, negating the effects. Malicious Bane not going to do any good there. If we go into Battle Phase, we'll activate Penalty Box. I know it actually has a Battle Trap effect as well, who knew? So we'll do that. We'll get into Extravagance here, which is a pretty good draw for us right now. Using Extravagance to get into Terraforming, we'll get a UA Hyper Stadium. We'll get Lyra Spiker. Obviously, we'll just want to get the player manager out onto the field. Getting player manager now, it will pop the Malicious Bane, go into attack, and we will deal a hell of a lot of damage here. Not enough for game though, which is a little bit of an issue knowing what they've got in hand. But we'll draw for turn, and they will hit a Neos Fusion, which is going to be really key. That's it. If you can go into Rainbow Neos, but plot back comes down, negates the effect. We'll get the Shiner back. We'll activate turnover tactics just before it gets to our turn, so we can have a battle phase instead. And they will scoop there. We had so many in plays there. I hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay. Let's talk a little bit about Swordsoul. Well guys, Swordsoul has completely changed UA. How good has this card just made UA? Looking at the gameplay and what the card does and how it interacts with this deck, it just makes it incredible. I'm so happy with this card. When I saw this at first release and I made my first video about it, I couldn't believe it. I didn't quite believe how good it was going to be. Now I've actually got to play with it and test it and use it more. This card is incredible. Swordsoul has changed everything about UA. It's made it so good. It's player manager on steroids. Special summons itself, interaction, allows you to get into more UAs, draws cards, pops cards, goes into rank 8 plays. What more could you want from this card? This card is insane. Honestly, the deck's incredible as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. I hope that you're excited as me for this card and for UA to get some more play time. Let's keep using it. Let's keep moving UA on. Let me know in the description if you make any changes to the deck. Subscribe if you're not. Like the video. Comment on the video. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we will keep using UA and keep advancing the deck. I'll catch you all next time. Keep going UA, keep pushing it, let's get this. See you in a bit.